Lights are very bright. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're coming from. My name is Adel, Ebeid. Juan is absolutely right. This is an extremely diverse group. And if I really want to make things complicated, I'm actually, while I grew up in the United States, I actually was born in the Middle East. So I throw that in there just to kind of show you how diverse the group is. So my official title is Chief Innovation Officer for the City of Philadelphia. And the story I want to share with you today is, hopefully what I want to leave you with is provoke some thought around what role should government play in being a catalyst for innovation. We would argue that the best role government can play is really that of a matchmaker. We're at a point in our life where government can no longer think that they are the sole providers of solutions. We are not the only body that can ideate and execute. And perhaps if we do less intervening and more convening, that perhaps that matchmaker role could really sort of invigorate the local community and get innovation going in the city. Before I do that, I just wanted to give you some background of Philadelphia. I'm not sure how many people have been to Philadelphia. Okay, hopefully we can get the rest of you there soon. Philadelphia is about 144 square miles. It was founded in 1682 by William Penn, about 1.6 million and growing, but during the daytime from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, it really swells up to quite a bit, almost 2.9 million. It is the largest city in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it's the second largest on the East Coast, and the fifth largest city in the United States. And when you look at the local economy and its contributions to the GDP, it's about the seventh largest in the country. So Philadelphia is a very large city, and it's a combination of county and city together. Very rich in history. In fact, a lot of people called it the city of firsts. First hospital, first university, which is the University of Pennsylvania, first bank, first stock exchange, first zoo, of course, and the first computer, which is the old UNIVAC that was invented in the University of Pennsylvania, first capital of the United States, and so on. So the spirit of innovation runs really deep in the city of Philadelphia. I realize this is a busy slide, and I'm going to run through it really quick, but the goal here is to really show how that spirit of innovation from the city of firsts continues today to first Chief Innovation Officer, first Chief Data Officer, and a whole bunch of other titles. But the bottom line is there are a series of programs that are coordinated at a much higher level, at a strategic level, so that we could really inform and improve the entire innovation ecosystem throughout the city. It's a very large city. If you were to compare it to, if you were to take the portfolio of the technology assets in the city and compare it to a private business, it'll certainly be in the ranks of a Fortune 50 company. So I've been there for 2 years. I started in 2011, and within my portfolio as Chief Innovation Officer, I oversee the innovation management strategy, which is really sort of ideating across the city so that we can collect the best ideas both internally and externally, score and rank them in a way so that our limited resources could focus on those ideas that will really solve pain points and will have the highest payback. We're working on creating the Innovation Academy when the first class is going to be in January of 2014. And that's really a way of taking internal resources within government, running them through a program, a very rigorous program, that will ultimately result in a municipal innovation master's. And the goal is can we teach innovation principles so that the job of innovation is not limited to a single person called a CIO, but rather the legacy we leave behind is that as many people as possible in government could think that way and could execute on some real creative ideas. The Innovation Lab is a sort of a co-working space. It's a combination of physical space and some virtual tools, and they come together, and the goal is to try to bring the startup community, government, nonprofits, academia, together in a single space and help them innovate with intent. Give them a real community problem that needs to be solved, and have the different ideas and the different folks from the various sectors collaborate to solve solutions. And at the end of the day, for us, 311, which is in the States, you have 911 if you have an emergency, but for non-emergencies, you call 311, and 311 is sort of, again, non-emergency social type problems. We constantly try to use 311 as a community engagement platform. This is the platform where we try to get a sense on what the community, how the community is responding to our actions and our activities. Also under me, there's a very important role, that of a chief data officer. That fella, Mark Head, who used to work for Code for America, really sort of helps us create an information ecosystem so that we can standardize data sets across the city so that we can create meaningful dashboards. There's a constant open data pipeline that's created, and it's in response to what the community wants. So we actually go out and ask the community, what type of data sets would you like to see from government? Ideally, they're the type of data sets that provide better transparency, because we really feel that when government exposes its data and brings citizens closer to the public policy process, that in the long run, that really breaks down the walls of credibility that sometimes need, the walls of mistrust that sometimes are built over the years. So open data in Philadelphia is really used as a way to achieve open government and transparency. The biggest data set that Philadelphia published last year in December was all the crime data in Philadelphia from 2006 to 2011. That's 5 years worth of crime data. You release that and you push it out into the community, and you let people understand how their community is responding to crime. You also allow the local technology community, the startup community, to build very useful mobile apps on top of that. And that really helps the community sort of understand how to slice and dice and consume very large amounts of data. So we really mean it when we say that in Philadelphia, we use data as a currency. There's a lot of local startup communities that have the talent, but they need two things. They need a problem to solve, and they need data to prove their solutions. So we interact with them quite a bit, not just in every Tuesday and Friday type hackathons, but sometimes we actually reach out to them for consultation and actually really invite them in before we write requests for proposals, before we go out for large contracts. Invite them in and really help us, inform us on what is the best way to approach problem solving for us. A couple of other programs around urban mechanics and civic technology, and those are the programs where urban mechanics is outward focused, civic technology is inward focused, and those are the programs where we deliberately go out and again ask the community, what problems are you facing, and then we take that back and we decide how we're going to work with them to deploy a solution. And at the end in 2013, this whole year was really about social entrepreneurship, and Philadelphia was one of 5 cities that won a Bloomberg Award for $1 million to really develop this concept of social entrepreneurship. You've probably heard of B Corp certification or companies that register as a B Corp. In Philadelphia, those are companies that are for profit, but they must have a social agenda around their business. And at the end of the day, social impact over bottom line is their business strategy. So these are folks who grew up organically in the community. They have an emotional tie to the community, and all they want is they want to use technology effectively to improve the lives of Philadelphia. So if you've been in Philadelphia and if you go to Philadelphia, this is sort of the tech scene that you'll see. It's a very vibrant city full of a lot of millennials lately that are moving into the city. And there's always something going on from ThinkFest to Tech Week. There isn't a day that goes by that where we're not having some kind of a hackathon or a technology meetup. So, and these are not folks who are flying in to Philadelphia and flying out. These are folks who live in Philadelphia. They want to make their communities much better. So I'm going to end on this note of sort of some 5 principles that we keep in front of us when we talk about how cities can become labs of innovation and what are some of the things, the outcomes that could be achieved when that happens. So when the startup community and government see each other as extensions of each other, especially helping with the ideation and the planning and the execution, that to us, that is sort of one of the outcomes of social innovation. When the community engagement is authentic and genuine in problem solving, that's also a great outcome for social innovation. And when there's deliberate bump and connect, and what we mean by bump and connect is government playing a role of matchmaker, meaning intentionally going out and causing one good idea to bump with another good idea and creating even an excellent idea. So that bump and connect is always sort of runs at the heart of a lot of things that we do. And when the physical, the social, and the intellectual capital, where they intersect, that is where you maximize social innovation. And when government sees itself as we're no longer the sole solution providers, we're conveners, we're facilitators, we're matchmakers. That in my eyes is the perfect outcome for social innovation. My time is up. Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Right on time, which is really good for the debate we're going to have after the presentations. Our next panelist, he's from China. His name is Chen. Okay, I'm gonna say something about you. He's associate professor in the E-Government Research Center in the College of Public Administration at Huazhong. It's okay. Huazhong University of Science and Technology, and he's been conducting research on IT outsourcing, IT service standardization, and smart city in China. Well, welcome, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. My slides is the next one. It's not this one. Okay. Here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to have this opportunity to talk about smart city in China. I come from Wuhan city. Wuhan is in Beijing is in the north of China. Shanghai is in the east, and Wuhan is just in the central. So my university is called Huazhong. Huazhong means the central of China, and I teach e-government in my university. Today, my topic is from smart city to smart tourism, and in the case of Wuhan city. Firstly, we will look at what is smart city, and then I will introduce the city of Wuhan, and Wuhan's practice of smart city and smart tourism, then conclusion. Everyone knows that smart planet, smart city is proposed by IBM. And IBM think smart city means three things. The first one is instrumented. So we use a lot of sensors. We use a lot of terminals to collect everything. For example, our computer, our car, our house, our office. And this instrumented means we can get the data from everything, right? So this is about the infrastructure. And then the second thing is interconnected. So we have all kinds of networks. We have internet, we have mobile network, we have Wi-Fi. So through the network, we can exchange the data. We can share the information. The third thing is intelligence, intelligent. So by the use of the big data, we can get better decisions. We can get the city more efficient. So this is the definition given by IBM. But we can look at smart city in a different perspective. Smart can be translated into 智慧 in Chinese. 智慧 is two characters. The first one is 智, okay? And this is different styles of characters. The second one is 慧. In Chinese, 智 means knowledge. Knowledge, we have knowledge, okay, and or intelligence. But 慧 is different. So this two character is different in Chinese. 慧, we can say there is the bottle of 慧represent heart, your heart. So the Chinese meaning is wisdom. You cannot get wisdom by your brain. You get your wisdom by your heart. So this is the Chinese culture about smart. So I think smart city is not just technology or knowledge, right? We have so many technology. We have cloud computing. We have Internet of Things. We have mobile technology. We have big data. But all this is not smart city. Smart city is related to your heart. So smart city is a city for people. And that's my understanding of smart city. Then I will introduce Wuhan. How many people know Wuhan in China? Okay, not so much. But 100 years ago, Wuhan is very famous because the revolution of 1911 took place in Wuhan. So after that, we ended the Qing dynasty. After that, we don't have empire in China because the empire system is about 2,000 years in China. So, Wuhan is similar to Philadelphia, the first city, okay? And also, Wuhan city have a long history. It's about 3,500 years. And this is a very famous building in Wuhan. It's called Yellow Clay Tower. It's built 1,008 years ago. And also, 100 years ago, Wuhan is very famous because this is the second biggest city in China at that time. It's called Chicago of the East. But not so many people know about Wuhan. Also, Wuhan have some advantages. The college students population in Wuhan is the biggest in China. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in the world. The college students population is about 1 million in Wuhan, because we have 87 universities and colleges in Wuhan. That's a big advantage, I think. And then the second advantage is Wuhan is the most important transfer center of high-speed train in China. High-speed train now is very convenient, and from Wuhan to Beijing, it takes about 5 or 6 hours, and to Shanghai is about 4 or 5 hours. So this is the transfer center of high-speed train. Also, Wuhan is rich in the natural resources. Many people know about West Lake in China, in Hangzhou. But not so many people know about East Lake in Wuhan. But East Lake is 10 times bigger than West Lake in Hangzhou. The water resource is very plentiful, is very rich in Wuhan. And also we have a very good museum, many interesting things. But we have many challenges. The traffic congestion, the bad air quality, and the pollution of water, and the food security, employment, healthcare. This is all the challenges we have now. So what should we do? Smart city, okay? This is the development of smart city in China. We can see so many cities: Beijing, Tianjin, Nanjing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Wuhan. You can see Wuhan is in the center of China. All these cities began to make smart city plans and began to put it into practice. This is the top 10 smart city projects in Wuhan. We can say smart e-government, let's focus on e-government. Smart mobility, smart waste management system, smart healthcare, smart environment protection system, smart community. But I'm going to focus on tourism. Because tourism is related to so many industries, the eating, your transportation, and your hotel, and the shopping, everything. Everything in the city is related to tourism, right? So now Wuhan put great importance on smart tourism. This is the situation of China's tourism industry. It's growing very, very fast. But most of our market is domestic market. The overseas market have rapid growth, but it's not the biggest one. And also, this is the growing number of online traveling market. Just 1 week ago, that is very famous e-commerce website in China. It's Taobao. Do you know how much is the sales in 1 day for this website, e-commerce website? In last week, in November 11, the sales is about let me see, sorry. It's about 6 billion US dollars just in one day, in one website. That means every people on the earth buy $1 on this website just in one day. So Chinese online market is increased very fast. And starting from 2012, many cities began to conduct smart tourism programs, including Wuhan. This is a framework of smart tourism. How many minutes I have?
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to skip all the details. This is a general framework. The perception and the infrastructure layer, the data exchange and the sharing cloud platform, the application layer, and the management and service. And we have 2 supporting systems, standard system and operation system. So I'm going to skip all this very quickly. This is the smart tourism programs in Wuhan. And conclusion, smart tourism is a new form of e-tourism, okay? And it can bring about many important benefits for tourists and citizens. But there are also some challenges for smart tourism. For example, privacy and the infrastructure and the information sharing. All these are challenges. So what is the future of smart tourism? There are too many opportunities. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chen. We'll have the chance to talk to you later, here or outside. So, because it's really interesting your point of view about the smart tourism, and Chen said something interesting too, related to social innovation, which is the smart city needs the strong commitment from the people. But not only commitment, people need to feel proud about their city, identification about their city. So, and the smart city is for them, basically. Our next panelist is from Japan. His name is Hiroki Iwasa. He's the head of GRA Group. GRA means General Reconstruction Association. And Hiroki decided to establish his own business in his hometown after seeing it devastated by the tsunami of March 2011, as everybody remember. His aim in that group, GRA, is to employ. It's very ambitious. Your aim is to employ 10,000 people in 10 years in 100 companies in this destroyed area. And this your work it touched me because as you know, in Chile in 2010 we also had a very big earthquake and tsunami. So I think we are going to have a great opportunity to listen to you. Please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Hiroki Iwasa. I'm head of GRA Group. First, I tell you a little about myself. My first company was Zuno, which I founded in Tokyo in 2002. After the earthquake, in 2012, I established the agricultural company GRA. At the same time as I started an agriculture non-profit organization, GRA, at the same time. For the disaster hit area in Tohoku to reconstruct my hometown Yamamoto based on its traditional strawberry industry. I'm from Tohoku, where, as you probably know, is the area that was hit by the earthquake and tsunami in 2011. My hometown is very, very small town called Yamamoto in Miyagi Prefecture, where I set up several companies, and finally, I have expanded my agriculture business to India. Today, I'll share a small example about rural innovation with a powerful impact to Japan. First, I'd like to talk about some of the social issues facing rural Japan. One of the biggest issues is the loss of diversity and innovation that occurs with the extensive migration of rural youth to big cities such as Tokyo. A lack of industry and well-paying jobs leads many young people to seek opportunity in the cities. What we need is to develop industries based on traditional local products. For example, in my hometown of Yamamoto, strawberries have been farmed for over 50 years. By learning traditional ways from local farmers, we were able to adapt their method to our modern technology. 2 years ago, because of the big earthquake and tsunami in northern Japan, we lost 4% of whole population in the town of Yamamoto. We lost almost all the strawberry greenhouses. There are over 100 small traditional greenhouses in Yamamoto. Strawberry farming used to be the local specialty. Of course, there were other industries, but strawberries formed a big part of local economy. I thought I had to reconstruct the strawberry industry as soon as possible. Infrastructures such as railways were destroyed as well. So many people went away to the cities. So first, I started strawberry farming in the good old way with senior farmer with career of over 40 years. We did it his way, and I learned from scratch from him and the local environment. So we started from here. We dug the soil, and we poured up water from underground. And I'm going to skip detail because it will take forever. But finally, we succeeded in harvesting great strawberries. But after all that work, I realized we can't do it this way. There was no day off. And there was something to do every single day. We had to wake up at 3 in the morning every day. You can't go on trip. You can't go to Disneyland with your son. So what I'm trying to say is young people wouldn't do this. The following year, based on that experience, I started working on completely different method. It was farming with an entirely computerized facility with cutting-edge equipment. I programmed what I learned from traditional farming into the computer in the good old way. We had to wake up at 3 just to turn on the light and open the window. In my greenhouse, the facility turns on the light and opens the window automatically when the time comes. In our place, there are many computers and tablet devices and online conference system to India, Segways, and automated farming system. Strawberries are planted in benches instead of soil on the ground. Soil was contaminated by a big tsunami. The bench moved and they bring themselves in front of us, and all we had to do is pick. Then many young people started to come. Most of my employees are under the age of 40. In Yamamoto, average farmer is over 65 years old. As a result of what I went through, we come across a great merger between traditional ways and technology. And this way was very attractive to young people. This is how we turned unsustainable traditional farming into sustainable computerized farming. How much do you think this strawberry is worth in Japan? $2. Okay. The strawberries we make are constantly high in quality. It's $10 strawberries. We sell our strawberries at a high price at $10 per strawberry. We have created a brand called Migaki Ichigo. Migaki means shaped as a diamond, and it has become quite well known in Japan. With its taste, price, and special packaging. Through this, many in and outside of Japan have started to show interest in Yamamoto. And we started to see tourists every month. Last year, there were 4,000 visitors to our greenhouse in Yamamoto. And the population of Yamamoto is only 10,000. So through this new business, the town itself has become known for strawberries. And if a local farmer starts growing strawberries, even in the good old way, he will be able to set a high price on them. Because now Yamamoto is a brand, I believe that create a good cycle in the area. So a community should revolve around the sustainable industry like strawberries in Yamamoto. To sum up, an attractive industry exploiting local, cultivated attribute is very important. If such an attractive industry is made, jobs that young people would apply for will naturally be created. Then, by the new young people, an attractive community and area will be created. These young people's offspring will continue this cycle. This, I think, is a sustainable cycle. A new industry out of the blue will fail. And simply keeping the old ways will not last long. Yes, the rural landscape and the traditional townscape are beautiful. But if a community hesitates to start an industry because it doesn't want to change the resources, the community will not last. And here is another example. Have you ever seen this kind of package before? This is another part of our branding activity. And this spring, we expand strawberry method to rural India, the countryside surrounding Mumbai. So we are creating well-paid employment not only in Tohoku, but also in poor area in India, where salaries are usually low. You know, there is a caste system in India. No enough jobs for rural women. So we constructed cutting-edge strawberry greenhouses with them without losing traditional agriculture. This method merger between traditional way and cutting-edge technology will a better way for all rural area in the world. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that my idea and our idea and action are inspiring to you, and I urge you to do everything you can help to help recovery from social problem, and to build a new and exciting world together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hiroki. And
It's yours.
I think this is a proof that the social innovation works. Because it means, as said, it means creativity, and we had a very big problem. Your country had a very big problem, and it's a part of the solution we are talking about. Our last panelist, he's going to speak in Spanish, so be prepared for it. His name is Juan Pablo Espinosa. Juan Pablo is a master in strategic and innovation management, and is currently a member of the Smart City Committee of Quito Metropolitan City. He's counsel and coordinator of the first round development of the Quito 2022 Digital and Socially Innovative Agenda. And he's also the administrative manager of the public sanitary company in Ecuador, Quito. So, thank you so much, Juan Pablo.
Thank you. But good afternoon, all. I prefer speaking in Spanish because the time and the feel of the words. The process in Quito is a process for a lot of passion. But yo coordiné la primera parte de la agenda digital como gerente administrativo del Agua. Nosotros, le preguntaba a Artur Serra del I2K esta semana que pude conocer el Living Lab, el Urban Lab, el Fab Lab de Barcelona, y le preguntaba qué entendemos por innovación social. Y como son términos tan nuevos, no tenemos una definición exacta. Yo me voy a apartar del proceso de la definición que concibe la innovación social como un proceso aparte de la tecnología. Nosotros hemos escogido otro camino en Quito. Y antes de empezar la presentación, yo les diré que nosotros concebimos, y ahora que he conocido el Fab Lab y estas impresoras 3D, un proceso diferente de coger un plan estratégico urbano como el que tiene Barcelona, como el que tienen las mayorías de ciudades, y ese plan estratégico lo hemos metido en una impresora 3D. Esa impresora 3D han sido los ciudadanos, y ustedes lo van a ver, y tenemos nuevas capas que se van formando de acuerdo al nivel de la sociedad. Primero viene una capa digital, después viene una capa de innovación social, después puede venir una capa de ciudad sensible o de una Smart City. Nosotros nos vamos a detener en la capa de la innovación social y les voy a decir por qué. Ya hemos visto cuáles son los problemas del planeta, cuántos millones de habitantes vamos a tener, pero primero hagamos una aproximación de Quito. Es la capital del Ecuador, un país pequeño, el centro del mundo y el centro del universo. Yo veo que aquí muchos conocen Quito, la mayoría, ¿sí? ¿Quién conoce Quito? Ahora acá adelante, la mayoría. Tenemos 2.3 millones de habitantes, 1.6 millones de presupuesto, 200 veces menos que muchas ciudades ya desarrolladas, una tasa del 9.5 de nivel de desempleo. Hemos sido capital iberoamericana de cultura, el centro histórico más grande y el más bonito de América y el primer patrimonio cultural de la humanidad. Nosotros tenemos alrededor de 50% de la población que se conecta a Internet y solo el 18% lo hace por smartphone. ¿Podemos ser una Smart City? Eso nos preguntamos cuando iniciamos el proceso de construcción de una agenda digital, de una agenda de una Smart City. Y nos preguntábamos, ¿qué es una ciudad inteligente? ¿Qué es una ciudad socialmente innovadora? ¿Cuántas ciudades socialmente innovadoras hay en el mundo? Ninguna. Quito es la primera, tal vez 2 con Medellín, o todas somos socialmente innovadoras. Hiroki presentó el caso en Japón. Esa es una ciudad socialmente innovadora. ¿Por qué? Porque estamos pensando primero en cómo mejorar la calidad de vida de la gente antes que en tecnología. También podría ser que, ¿por qué Quito está presente en este panel? Bueno, hay muchas razones. Tal vez porque Ecuador creció 15 puestos en nivel de competitividad porque duplicó su gasto de inversión, pero apenas estamos en el 0.48%. O tal vez porque Quito está realizando las más grandes infraestructuras de Sudamérica, un nuevo metro, un nuevo aeropuerto, un plan vial gigante. Pero yo creo que es porque estamos aquí y para nosotros, para la comunidad de Quito Digital, este es un reto porque hemos hecho un proceso ciudadano. Aquí van a ver lo que hemos hecho hasta ahora. Había muchos conceptos, muchas claves que nos decían que ya era Smart. Los ejes clásicos de una ciudad. Repotenciamos una comunidad digital a través de un ambiente que es un coworking. Ahora lo vamos a hacer un Urban Lab, un Fab Lab. Teníamos ciudadanía inteligente. Quito tiene sus puntos wifi, sus puntos gratuitos. Están alrededor de toda la ciudad. Hemos iniciado un proceso de gobernanza inteligente de Gov. Después pasaremos a Gov. Pero no ha sido un proceso que ha implementado ahora nuevos procesos. En medio ambiente inteligente hemos hecho cosas muy interesantes. Están cables soterrados, hemos puesto reutilización del agua para generación de energía y adicionalmente tenemos algunos parques inteligentes. En movilidad, que es el punto donde más hemos avanzado, tenemos proyectos de BCQ, que es el corazón de una Smart City en cuanto a infraestructura. Estamos construyendo un nuevo metro, tenemos ahora unos sistemas de control con semáforos inteligentes muy potentes. Y esto es suficiente para decir que una ciudad podía dejar su estatus y su proceso como estaba, porque habíamos hablado de cultura digital en temas de salud, de seguridad, educación y turismo. Y hemos avanzado mucho, pero queríamos avanzar un poco más. ¿Por qué? Porque las sociedades sudamericanas todavía tienen un gran problema, que es la brecha digital. Y la brecha digital acarrea muchos problemas como son la brecha en eficiencia energética, la brecha en reducción de pérdidas, la brecha educativa. En tiempos que estamos hablando de e-learning, que vamos a pasar al mobile learning, que vamos a pasar al WeGov, es importante reducir la brecha digital. Y para nosotros, antes de ir a una agenda de Smart City, tenemos que hablar de una agenda de una ciudad socialmente innovadora. Y eso implica 4 aspectos. El primero, tenemos que reducir la brecha digital. Después de reducir la brecha digital, tenemos que generar con un coworking ciudadano, es decir, toda la ciudadanía alineada a un mismo objetivo como ciudad. Después, esa participación ciudadana, ese quehacer del ciudadano diariamente en todas sus actividades, nos puede llegar a la co-creación de servicios públicos. Y como cuarto, esa reducción de la brecha digital, el que el ciudadano participe en la reducción en la coprestación de los servicios públicos nos lleva a reducir la inequidad social que existe en la región. Solo así, solo con estas 4 variantes, nosotros entendemos que estamos hablando de una ciudad socialmente innovadora. Para nosotros, y está mal que lo digan en el Smart City Expo, yo llevo varios años queriendo venir al Smart City Expo y tuvimos que construir una agenda digital para que pueda venir, pero bueno, nosotros no queremos ser una Smart City más, ¿sí? Nosotros queremos ser la primera ciudad socialmente innovadora de la región. ¿Cómo lo vamos a hacer? Bueno, nos pusimos a jugar un poco primero, ¿sí? Le pusimos al alcalde, al vicealcalde, a todas las autoridades, a 350 de los mejores estudiantes de Quito. Les dejo la diapositiva porque por el tiempo no les puedo enseñar el video. Si estoy muy hablando la traductora, no sé cómo, muy rápido me tiene que decir, pero bueno, la mayoría habla español. Nos pusimos a jugar Legos. Tenemos 15 modelos de ciudad y me encantó la presentación del MIT, porque también estaban jugando Legos en el MIT. Nosotros nos pusimos a jugar Legos y los tenemos guardados en una cápsula que están en Quito, en la Factoría del Conocimiento. Veamos, en 10 años los vamos a sacar. Y aparte de jugar Legos, tuvimos un Smart político. Sí, el alcalde Augusto Barrera es una persona que cree en la innovación social. Ha trabajado aquí en España en innovación social. Abrimos los oídos. Open Innovation. Antes de venir a Barcelona, de oír el Fab Lab, el Urban Lab, lo hicimos también en Quito. Participamos con 350 estudiantes, hicimos un megalego, también lo hicimos en un campus party, también lo hicieron industriales, también lo hicieron los empresarios y por supuesto los gerentes. Y nos tomamos un café, aquí en España les encanta tomar el café, bueno, en Sudamérica también, pero nos tomamos un café diferente, porque este café nos sirvió para crear comunidad digital, que son los café tuiteros. Vamos yendo un poco más rápido, miramos al futuro con los mejores estudiantes. Creamos un principio. Para nosotros la innovación social es pensamiento colaborativo más inteligencia colectiva. Creamos un ecosistema. En Ecuador, en Quito, hay una comunidad digital. Después les van a contar ya el caso de Yashay, que es el megaproyecto del Ecuador. Y tenemos una visión local. Hicimos un encuentro de ciudades digitales, muchos estuvieron ahí, pero sobre todo hemos sido parte del City Protocol y ahora estamos creyendo de unir la experiencia sudamericana con la red española de ciudades inteligentes, con el liderazgo de los dos alcaldes, Barrera y de la Serna. Y al final tenemos cuando se cargue, este anillo, que lo utilizan mucho aquí en España y que nos hizo modificar la presentación. Tenemos un anillo que nos habla de los proyectos actuales, digitalización, alfabetización, Ideas Quito, que es un proceso por internet que participaron 100 personas, dando estilo pechacucha, su foto y su idea de qué quieren en el 2022, sistemas de indicadores. En esos ejes que tenía el Plan Metropolitano de Desarrollo, cuando vean la presentación en SlideShare lo van a entender mejor, en esos ejes montamos una nueva capa. Esa capa son los proyectos del futuro de Quito. Y en esos proyectos del futuro les invito a pensar como comunidad, como co-city. Primero, reducimos la brecha digital. Necesitamos infraestructura tecnológica, formación y divulgación. Después, vamos a crear un Urban Lab. Tenemos 40 centros de desarrollo comunitario en barrios más vulnerables, en donde queremos llevar todo el sistema de Fab Lab. Queremos ser ya no solo la primera ciudad capital iberoamericana de la cultura o el primer patrimonio cultural. Queremos ser la primera ciudad que sea la capital de la memoria digital de Sudamérica. Hay mucha riqueza y combinación histórica entre España y Ecuador y queremos contarla virtualmente. Queremos ser una ciudad de Smart Environment monitorizando el ambiente. Sí, esto es muy importante. Es un reto abrir los datos, creo que aquí ya lo hemos hablado mucho. En Sudamérica todavía es difícil encontrar puntos mapeados de datos, ahí contamos con su colaboración. Y al final, para responder una pregunta que me hizo Paco Prieto, que es el consultor de la agenda, la primera vez que empezamos el proceso hace exactamente un año. A Quito le ha tomado un año llegar a que les cuente la historia en el Smart City Expo. Estoy seguro que el próximo año va a venir otra persona de Quito y les va a contar los proyectos que hemos implementado en el primer año de Quito 2022. Recién es algo de largo plazo, no hay que acelerarse. Yo estoy seguro que el próximo año alguien lo va a hacer mejor que yo, mucho mejor que yo, y lo va a hacer con los proyectos que vamos a desarrollar en conjunto. Bajo esta nueva figura de WeGov, que significa administraciones públicas más eficientes y más pequeñas y políticos más técnicos y especializados. Pero sobre todo, para concluir, Juan Luis, quiero responderle a Paco la pregunta que me hacía cuando llegó a Quito. ¿Cuál es el aroma de Quito? Barcelona tiene muchos aromas en una Smart City, pero Paco me preguntaba cuál es el aroma de Quito. Y yo le respondo a Paco con una respuesta que le dio el alcalde cuando le hizo la entrevista haciendo la agenda digital. Lo más importante, Quito, es el ciudadano. Y el aroma que va a tener Quito es este. Quito va a ser el primer lab, el Urban Lab de Sudamérica. ¿Por qué? Porque los ciudadanos van a potenciar el ecosistema de la innovación en base a la innovación social. Gracias.
Hello. Thank you so much, Juan Pablo. Well, please, we are going to have time for one question only. So be brave and please ask. Who's going to ask? Come on, we have a very ambitious plan here. Nobody? Well, so I'm gonna make a question. So what's the relationship between public and private sector in order to encourage a social innovation? What is the role of the public authorities and the area in order to encourage and to enhance this topic. Please feel free to answer, but very short, please.
But en el caso de Quito, la agenda digital plantea un sinnúmero de intervenciones como alianzas públicas y privadas. Yo creo que la innovación social lo que plantea es que el gobierno haga cada vez menos y se dedique a las grandes infraestructuras y los ciudadanos nos dediquemos a hacer a través del emprendimiento social las cuestiones de menor escala que no dejan de ser importantes.
Adel?
So in Philadelphia, for us, I think, and I covered that in my presentation, is we really feel that the best role government can play, or the public sector can play, is to convene, facilitate, and define a policy that makes the city innovation friendly. We're not trying to intervene and lead where we stifle innovation, frankly. And so United States might be quite, a little bit different than some other areas. We have an ecosystem that can innovate, improve economic development, improve digital quality of life, create jobs, and what we need is for government to think of policies and a regulatory framework that is going to encourage that and be a catalyst, and not burden it to the way where it goes someplace else, frankly. Also, Philadelphia, so that's one aspect. The other aspect of Philadelphia is that cities in the United States compete against each other. So if Philadelphia does not create an innovation-friendly ecosystem, then entrepreneurs or startups are going to go to Boston or going to go to San Francisco or New York City. So there's at a micro level, how do we create a city that is that retains that type of brain power and talent? And also at the macro level, how do we position Philadelphia to be the place of choice to live and work? So there are a couple of very interesting things going on, but the less regulatory intervention, the better, I believe, especially in a capital system. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I answer the question in Chinese? Yeah, it's more easier for me. Okay. 下面我用中文来回答这个问题，就是因为有这个同声翻译会帮我们来翻译。是这样的，关于这个政府职能的话，实际上是在这个8年前，就是中国政府对于这个就是政府的这个职能，就是有一个论述，就是说在这个市场经济的条件下面，就是中国政府的职能的话是4个方面。就第一个是这个就是经济的调节，第二个是这个市场的监管，第三个是这个公共服务，然后第4个是社会管理。我认为就是在这个智慧城市发展的这个过程里面的话，这个就是政府和这个就是市场化的这样应该是有所区分的。对于公共性的部分是应该由市场来解决，应该由政府来解决。因为这个对于公共性的这样一些产品，比如说我们的环境，这个就是市场可能就没有办法来完全解决这样的一些问题。那么呢，就是在今年的话，刚刚开的这个就是18大里面。就是说，对于我们这个中国政府的职能又有一个新的定位，在这个4大职能里面又加了一个，就是环境保护，就是在这个今年刚刚召开的这样一个就是18届3中全会里面，就中国政府把环境保护单独作为它的这个第5大职能，所以这证明这样一个就是中国政府观念的这样一个转变。虽然目前呢我们有非常多的一些问题，但是呢我们现在就是正在朝这个方向来努力。所以我觉得就是说，市场和这个就是政府的角色是应该有所区分的，在公共性的这样一些产品和服务里面，是应该政府来发挥主导作用。谢谢。
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hiroki, but if you wanna answer, but very short, please.
Okay. In Japan, northern area, tsunami hit area, there are very big budget for reconstruct, but no human resource and no natural resource to use. So for innovation and for reconstruct, it's difficult to public sector work well, because public sector's work is save law and save rule. It's basically public sector's work. So from private sector, almost all innovation will be occur from, I think, private sector.
Well, thank you very much to all of you. Maybe we didn't realize very well, especially people from the first part of the room, but we were totally crowded. So thank you so much. Please, big applause for everybody.